Facebook, and those of you that are watching and listening here at the lounge. We always welcome you guys here at Lounging with John. I have got my co-host with me, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Brandon Armstrong. How are you doing, buddy?
I am doing great. Just enjoying the pre-Christmas nice warmth here.
Hey, let me tell you something. You look, we we're not supposed to start this stream out with violence, and you're real close.
I,
You're redlining.
I'm
You're
telling you.
redlining.
Yeah.
Let me
I just
let me
checked
see
his
if I
weather,
can
folks.
find David's number here.
Uh-oh.
Maybe we'll just bring him up here and see what he thinks about your lovely weather chat.
He'd probably hate my weather because given the fact you guys are going to go down to 38
I mean,
degrees
he'd probably
with
tell
showers.
you to take that weather and shove it right up your,
Yeah, he probably
That's
would.
probably what he would say. And I'd just sit here and say nothing because I don't debate with the one person. I just don't. Anyways,
That would be an interesting stream.
it would be a never existing stream.
Yeah.
So we've got a few different things we'll be talking about tonight, and we went ahead and just put it in, doing it in one stream instead of doing two different streams. And most important, now the second part of this stream is important as well, but the one thing that I focus on and I try to put a lot of attention and time into is anything that's based around drug addiction, recovery, mental illness, depression, all them things, and
Especially around this time of the year.
especially around this time of year. And the reason that I really went ahead and kind of pushed to do this today was because I get topics on my mind and I just want to talk about them, because otherwise then it kind of just, not that it doesn't stay interesting, but the drive to do it kind of lessens as, the less you think about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to talk about drug addiction with teens, along with depression, mental illness. I think that it's something that in a lot of cases we overlook. We don't look in the areas where we need to really look.
Yeah.
There was a survey that was done in 2021, and it was interesting because a lot of people assume that most teens, 80% of teens, end up having depression because of bullying. But come to find out, that's not the only problem. Listen, it's not just in the schools. The other problem is people think, well, when the kids get home, that's their safe haven. Well, in most cases, it is. But in some cases, it's the worst place to be.
Yep.
Because that's where it started. That's where the depression started. That's where the want for something to take away the mental pain that said teenagers are dealing with. They want to get away from it. So what do? They turn to drugs. Why? It's not just peer pressure, and people need to understand that. It's not just peer pressure why teens do drugs. Now let's be realistic about this. Peer pressure is, it's definitely something that happens, but it's not always based around, well, teens wouldn't do it if they wasn't pressured into doing it.
Yeah, we got to get out of this mindset that just because, it's not always their friends that are doing it and then they turn to that.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I do agree on the aspect that, it can be a peer pressure thing, and it's very common for peer pressure. It's a common thing. But
and unfortunately, when I was a teenager, that was actually instilled into my head. Oh, you wouldn't do this if your friends didn't. And it's like, you can't have that mindset all the time.
No. And I'm not blaming everybody that listens to, hey, it's your fault. I'm saying in general, we we take our eye off the ball so easily, and we stop looking at other conditions. Drug addiction, there are just a slew of different reasons why drug addiction begins, where it starts. It starts with peer pressure. It starts with uh, due to it being a sickness in general. If you're in a family that, the last four generations of your family has faced drug addiction or alcoholism, what are the odds that you're going to face that? They're pretty high. That
Yep.
you're a risk factor for getting started on drugs.
It's interesting how this is a generational issue, several generations down the line, because
And
this actually comes up in church a lot. We're talking about this kind of thing, and it's always, you know, the generation behind the one before sees the one before doing whatever, and then it happens with them.
yeah, and the thing is, but the thing that people need to understand is not just because, well, they did it, so we're doing it. It is a sickness.
Mm-hmm.
It is a sickness that is it's passed through DNA. It's passed through the DNA from one family member up to the next, and so on. And we need to realize that. We need to realize that drug addiction, it's not something where these teenagers just decided they wanted to do it. Okay,
Yeah.
uh, I you know I said it the other day. I said it on a video that we did. Addiction, that is not a choice. That is
No.
not something that is decided on. And a lot of people mistake that. They say, well, they decided to do it. Okay, I understand that they went and they did it. They said, yes, I'm gonna smoke that weed, or I'm gonna uh, sniff that line of cocaine, or I'm gonna do that line of heroin. Whatever. They decided to do it. Yes, but the addiction is not. That's not from the choice. It's not a choice. Addiction is not a choice. And I wish people would stop talking like it is, because it's not.
Yeah, because I'm sure, given the choice, if somebody said, "Hey, you can live a good life or have an addiction to drugs," I'm sure they wouldn't pick drugs.
Yeah. I mean, guys, let's just stop pointing fingers and making accusations, and let's do more on the side of trying to fix it. Let's stop just assumption, such a powerful word, assuming that we know why someone's going through something.
And I'm sorry to point this out, but I think our anti-drug ad campaigns have a lot to do with this too.
I'm curious on why your reasoning behind that. I
Well, think
actually,
about it. If you go back in during the 80s, they started this program, this Just Say No program for kids and teenagers and drugs, and they all made it sound like, well, you have a choice to do drugs and you chose to do drugs.
yeah, I understand your point, but you also understand the whole idea behind putting posters in schools and stuff, say no to drugs.
Absolutely.
That is a true motivator to these young minds to not even want to get around it.
I agree.
Um, so at the same time, again, that's one of them deals where we're using something that works, but assumption takes over and we start looking at conditions from the wrong angle. Now, from your
Hmm.
angle, it makes sense. It makes sense, but if you look at the true numbers behind kids that did just say no, the numbers are good, but those kids that have the the ties connected to other family down the line or up the line, whatever, just say no is not going to fix it,
Right.
right? And
Just
that's
like dare isn't going to fix it.
right. You know, the other thing that is another interesting area to think about, and this is going to be a stream all by itself one day that we do, is how society comes to agreement based on laws. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now don't get me wrong, my friends. Marijuana is legal in a lot of states and it's illegal in a lot of other states. And for those states that it's legal in, I give a thumbs up to it. Until it's legal in the other states, nobody wants anything to do with it. They still look at it as being a horrible drug. Now, marijuana is actually not a horrible drug. And people can argue with me on this all day if they choose to. But I can tell you that marijuana. Do you know how many cancer patients use marijuana?
I don't know an exact number, but I'm sure hundreds.
Well, I don't have the actual number in front of me, but I could get it, and I can guarantee you it's going to be over 50%.
Mm.
50% or higher with patients that are sick, that have illnesses that are not curable. The odds and the chances of them using marijuana is pretty high.
And let's just be honest about this, folks. Marijuana is a plant, and how many times have you ever heard about somebody in the news overdosing on marijuana?
Let me ask you
It has
something.
not happened.
People know that liquor is something you got to be 21 to drink it, right?
Mm-hmm.
People accept that though, don't they?
Exactly.
Let's say that me and you went to a dinner somewhere and we were sitting at a dinner with 10 other people and you said, "Yeah, last night I had me a beer." Is anybody going to look down on you about that? No.
No, they're not going to even think twice about that.
They're not even going to even put it on the same page with you being a bad person.
But if you were to say something like, I smoked a joint of
Now,
marijuana
yeah,
last night,
well, that's sort of where I'm going. Sort of. The reason that people don't look down on you for it is because it's legal.
mm-hmm.
It's not illegal. It's legal. It's been accepted by society. The law, they make it a law. They make it legal with some conditions, but it's legal. But now, from that day forward, nobody's looking at you like you're garbage because, oh, he drank. Now, here's something that might be interesting to think about. Did you know that did you ever know about the war that we went through over alcohol, over beer and
Yeah,
all that?
prohibition.
Yeah, and prohibition was I can't remember what year.
It started in 1920 and ended in 1933.
So the point here is, once society accepts something, it makes it okay. If it wasn't, someone is blowing me up, and it's talk
So yeah,
talk about that a minute, Brandon.
the
Hello.
point is, we fought that in that prohibition law for 12 years, from 1920 to 1933. What happened? People made alcohol illegally. Smuggling went up. Murder rates, I'm sure, went up through the roof. Basically, crime went up in general because it wasn't legal and people were going to find ways to make it. Um, and we repealed that in 1933. All of a sudden, all those crimes of smuggling alcohol, making it illegally, dropped significantly because of the fact that it was made legal again. Now you go to marijuana, what happens? You see people smoking it, people getting arrested, people selling it.
I just found out some other news.
What's that?
This is good for our TikTok channel, The
Oh,
Lounge. You only need 300 followers now.
oh,
We ain't got far to go, people. Be looking up Lounging with John on
nice.
TikTok. I like TikTok. But anyways, back to the main topic here. I could go for an hour on this whole alcohol and drugs, but let's go back to the main point here on teens. We need to be finding ways to show them that they're not alone. We need to be, instead of punishing them, isolating them and making them feel like they don't have someone to talk to. You know, when you put too many things on a person at one time, it does one thing. It scares them or it shuts them down.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there's a number of caseworkers and social workers that they just get too much in your face and they don't
I
fix
think
it.
the biggest problem is we get wrapped up in the punishing part of the law.
These teens that get in trouble, we worry about what they did, and then we worry about what the punishment's going to be. But
Yeah,
let's
exactly.
go and let's look at the bigger picture. Why? Why did you do it? What is going on? What can I do to give you the support to show you that it's going to be okay? What is it that you're dealing with that makes you feel like you got to do this? That's the questions that we're staying more away from instead of facing them.
Here's an interesting question for you, since you've seen a lot of these teenagers. How many of them, 9 times out of 10, how many have you had that have, when you've asked that question, have they ever actually said, because I felt like doing it, versus my family did
No,
it or some other
there
reason?
was 90% of the time there's always something connected to it. Either an abusive mother, abusive father, abusive brother, abusive sister. It's not always that the parents are abusive. There's so many different things that can happen behind closed doors, right?
Right.
And I'm not saying all of us say, well, when a kid's at home, everybody thinks it's okay, but there's a lot of people that do think, well, when they're home, they're better. No, that's not always the truth.
That's not always true.
But you can't take a teenager and just pull them into an office and start digging in. You got to show them that you're on their side. You're not doing it because you're against them.
Yeah.
Let's take a
I
look
just,
at how many kids went through foster care and actually went all the way up to being an adult without getting in trouble. You tell me how many. How do you even think that there's even a number close enough to say that kids that go through foster never get in trouble? Because that would be a lie.
yeah.
They get in trouble because they're disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
They're disconnected because they don't feel the love. They don't feel loved. They don't feel respected. They don't feel understood. Just because it's a teen, I think we need to show these kids that, hey, we can listen, not talk. For once, as the adult, zip the lip. Talk to me.
I
Tell
think
me
that's
what's
another
going
problem
on.
with the adults. They talk too much and they don't listen.
We are in a world today where, folks, this is not going to get better if we don't start doing something different. There are many, many, many teens out there that are lost, that are disconnected, that are depressed, that feel like they don't have a purpose. And we can fix this. I'm not saying we can cure it. Okay, I'd be an idiot to say that. We can't cure it all the way. But we can start to make a change and reach out to these teens and do more things involving teens to show them the importance of them, that they
Mm-hmm.
matter. Listen, I grew up in a broken family. I'll be the first one to say it. Now, I'm not disrespecting my mother one bit, but I grew up in a broken family. What do you mean by that, John? What do you mean a broken family? You seem pretty mature to me, yeah, today. But do you think for 1 second when I was 13 years old that I was the way that I am today?
Nope.
Absolutely not. And I had many different reasons. So I had more than one thing, and that's another thing to point out. There can be several things that causes someone to feel disconnected. I, as a child, as a teen, as a young man, I was disconnected. I went to school. I went to public school. No family support. I went to the blind school. No family support. I went back to public school. No family support. I never had the love and support that I needed. Now, we can't sit back and blame somebody for everything we do. But as an adult, I can sit here and 100% blame my disconnected family for the way I was. I was a 12-year-old boy, and I had no care in the world about following any rules. Rules did not apply in my life. And I have that right to blame the disconnect in my family. Being in a broken family. That is a big factor, and it still is today as much as it was then. You've got to have love and support in a family. You got to. You got to have it. And if you don't, you're going to have problems. Listen, when I was 13 years old, I was the last person you wanted to meet in the hallway and say something mean or try to pick on. I was the last person that you wanted to do that to when I was 13 years old, because I would beat the brakes off you. I was a fighter in school. I was a complete opposite of what I am today. When I was 13 and 14, 15, listen, I wasn't even 13 yet when I drank my first bottle of whiskey.
Wow.
Okay,
I can hear the judgment coming already from people
I wasn't
back
even
then. Oh, he'll never
13
amount to anything.
when I smoked my first joint. I wasn't even 15 when I did my first line of cocaine. I had the right to blame a disconnected family. Because in my mind, at the age of 12 years old, who are you at the age of 12 to know what responsibility is? You don't. You don't. If you got kids, if you got teens, And right now, if I was to ask you, any listeners out there, I would just say, how is your communication between you and your teens? And if I had you rate it between 1 and 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, and you told me that that number was less than 7, anything less than 7, you got some work to be getting done. I don't expect it to be perfect. But if you say, oh, I'll give it a 3, guarantee you that child or those children or those teens, they're probably going to be in trouble if not already. But when you improve communication, you improve the connection between you and your child, I guarantee you it will change everything. Brandon, what is your thoughts on that with kids growing up with broken families and the way that they behave? What is your thoughts behind that whole thing I've been talking about?
It's very sad to see. Um, we have some kids and teens in our church that come from broken families, and I gotta say though, the good thing about our church, like we've had teenagers that have been struggling with things, even at school. They're struggling with, well, I want to smoke or do drugs or even commit suicide. And they've come to our church ministry people and said, hey, I've been struggling with this for 2 weeks in school. Please help me. And it's good to know that there's a safe place they can go and tell somebody in confidence and not be judged because of what they may or may not be thinking about doing.
Right. I think the church is the best place for a teenager to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is a place where they can find a connection with not just the fact of finding the connection with God, but they can connect with someone that's an adult that can possibly get their mind focused on the responsible way of thinking.
Yep.
Listen, how can you learn to be responsible if there's not a responsible party to teach you? I want you to answer that. I'm asking you, Brandon. How can you learn responsibility if there's no responsibility parties?
You can't. There's no way to learn responsibility.
That's why it's up to families. Listen, if you're in a family and things are rough, find a way to fix it. And listen, I am saying that's it. That's what it takes. That is it. Support. That's what it takes. And if whatever reason, maybe you're a teen that there's just no possible way you can't connect with anybody in your family at home, and you feel lost, then reach out, because people care. There are people that care. Look, I don't even know you, but I can say enough to know that if you're going through something and you're having a hard time, I care. I wouldn't want to see any teenager go through all the rough paths that can definitely happen from being disconnected from family.
Yep.
You know, love is a very, there is a fine line around the word love, and it can be misrepresented in so many ways. But at the end of the day, having people to show you love and respect and care, that makes a huge difference.
Oh, yeah.
Not saying it's 100% fixed, because I know that, you know, especially kids that do go through foster parents and stuff, The foster parents can be as loving and as caring as any other parent, and that child still do the opposite. I've seen it. I know for a fact, not going to say names on a live stream, but I know of people that's done adoption with kids their whole life, and some of them kids were impossible. So I get it. Sometimes there's nothing you're going to be able to do. But at the same time, you can still just support them. Show them love, even when they mess up. Take away the anger, replace it with support and love. You know, show them that, look, I know you messed up, but I still love you. You know, people would actually listen to what I'm saying right now, listen to what we're preaching. If people actually listened to that and followed that, it'd make a huge difference.
Yep.
There are a lot of teenagers out there today that are lost. They feel alone. They feel abandoned, abused,
Broken.
completely disconnected and broken, shattered to the ankles. And if you're a teen and you're going through something and you don't want to talk to your family about it, or maybe you can't, then reach out to someone that will help you. It doesn't make you a bad person to say, I need help. I wouldn't want to see any kid go through, you know, being in a family where the family's not there showing their love and support.
Exactly.
I wouldn't want to see anybody go through or go down the path that I went down when I was a child. And this ain't no pity me party, because it's done, it's over, I've learned, and I've done well for myself, considering. But I wouldn't want to see anybody go through that. Now, the other thing I want to point out is, while going through that, there's also other things. You as a teen, sometimes there might be things about you that you cannot change, that you will never change. And you've got to accept that. You know, when I was 10 years old, 11 years old, that's when I started getting to the point where I was like, you know what, I don't accept this thing about me being blind. I don't accept it. I won't accept it. And I would tell myself that all the time. I don't accept it. I will fit in with the rest of the world, just like everybody else. And I was ruthless. I was illegally driving at the age of 15 up until I was 22. I was driving vehicles. I owned vehicles. And thank God above, nothing ever happened to me, and I never got pulled over. And I learned. But that's not the way to live. Accept. It's one thing to accept something that doesn't change than to accept something that you can change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't change your physical appearance.
No.
You can't change the fact that you are completely blind. It doesn't matter what you do. You could bang your head into the wall 1,000 times. You're still going to be blind the next day, aren't you?
Yep.
So that's something that you got to accept. Let me ask you, when you was young, did you accept that?
I did, but I hated it. I honestly hated it because I felt like I was different, because unfortunately society gives you that label of, oh, well, you're different because you stick out, because you can't do certain things. You can't drive. You can't interact in the way that other kids do when they can see and you can't. And it was a struggle.
It's not a good feeling.
No, it's not.
So I think as a teenager, you need to learn that line of things that you have to accept and the things that you should not accept. For example, like I said, having a disability, you've got to accept that. Having a mom or a dad that's abusive, you do not have to accept that. You do something about that. You don't accept it. You go to the right people and you talk to people if there's things going on in your life that should not be happening. You don't accept that. There's a very thin line between acceptance and acknowledgement to the realities around us, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is something that we got to accept compared to what is something that does not have to be accepted? As a teen, I can see that being very confusing. Was for me.
Blind. They didn't want me to do that.
You know,
and it sucked.
It does.
Because it's like they were trying to change who I was and trying to tell me to change my blindness into something
my ex-wife
that it wasn't.
She, when it comes to talking about acceptance, one of the things that she didn't accept was the fact clearly that I was visually impaired. She said it wasn't a problem, but then I continued to hear from other people where she would talk about it when I wasn't around.
That's another area that really I struggled with as a teenager.
Unfortunately, the whole fake ex-wife thing, one of the big issues was acceptance. That's what, and I'm not going to get into it fully, but what I'm saying is because of her not having acceptance in some of the things in her life that she had to accept, it also destroyed her relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that this is another area, and I'm going to actually do a dedicated stream on this within the next few weeks, and it is going to be based on specifically because I've actually got a story about a teen is having a child and not accepting their conditions.
Oh boy.
You as a parent, you don't have the choice to accept or not accept a child that has a disability. You don't get to choose. You have to accept that. And if you can't, end of the day, it just makes you a pathetic parent.
Hold on, let me get this straight. The teenager is having a child, and the teenager has a disability, or the child?
The teen has a disability and has parents that don't accept it.
Yeah, we definitely got to do a stream. I got a lot to say on that one.
We'll save that for the next stream. What I want to say before we jump into the next topic here is this. If you're a teen and you feel lost, like no one to talk to you, but there's no one to talk to, I'm going to tell you right now, there are people that will listen. If you're going through something and you're scared, you don't know what to do, you don't know who to talk to, there's an email. Email us. We'll do what we can to support you. Now, given you are underage, so we're not here to tell you what to do. We're not here to act as your parent. We can't. But don't ever feel like you're in a situation where you can't get help. And if you are in a situation and you are depressed or you are going through things and you don't know what to do, reach out to us. You don't have to accept that. Sometimes I think that teens can get in the mindset that they don't have a choice. They got to be this way. That's not true. So, the next chat that we're going to get into, I'm actually going to start this off with.
Restream Google Chrome row 1 restream.
We're going to be doing some.
Ops 30 copy Google Chrome column 3 3 4. 4281. We're going to get it. China expert warns of
Let me
42.
get to it here. It's got to do with. Let me pull it
Restream
up.
Google Ops 30.2.3 profile. Untitled scene. Copy Google Chrome column 444. Copy document. Button copy link. Advertisement frame.
Say it wrong.
Copy microphone recording Google Chrome.
Okay.
Desktop list. Ops Studio 504 T. TMA Tank Command T. TMA Address T. Goldwave 30 T. TMA Home T. Google Chrome 3.
So, Brandon, what do you know about the.
Copy Google Chrome 42. Restream Google Chrome column Ops 30.2.3. News app Google Chrome column 1 1. News app Google Chrome. G Google O O T L E dot C O M. Google document. Search landmark. Search.
The UFO fighter that Elon Musk created?
I didn't hear anything about that.
S F space F I T T R space D E S I T E collapse space D Y space E L O N M U S K. UFO fighter designed by Elon Musk.
Really?
Clickable domain. Clickable
Yeah.
search results heading level. Clickable videos heading level 2. Clickable Elon Musk UFO fighter jet. Tech Titans select the link model info. Link heading level 3. Elon Musk UFO fighter jet. Tech
It's a UFO fighter
link
jet.
model link HTTP button about December 14th, 2024.
That's an
Report subscribe with
interesting,
direct call with left anti-gravity.
I'm going to
Elon Musk
read
UFO fighter jet.
this.
Tech Titans. UFO jet expo. Recent social media posts proclaim Elon Musk unveiled a revolutionary link UFO. UFO jet. Secret. Musk. Secret. UFO. Exposed.
Fighter jet
Billionaires.
exposed.
Anti-gravity fighter.
The
Gravity. Anti-billionaires.
billionaire's
Gravity.
anti-gravity fighter
Make air.
Whoa.
Obsolete. Out of any reason.
to make Air Force obsolete.
Defies physics. These reports describe an aircraft called physics. Defies physics.
It defies the physics.
These reports describe an
These
aircraft
reports
called
describe an aircraft
Ethereum
called Ethereum
with alleged anti-gravity
with
Technology.
alleged anti-gravity technology
propulsion systems beyond systems propulsion
and propulsion systems
beyond known aerodynamics.
beyond known
Advertisement.
aerodynamics.
Link on label craft clickable. -1 quote add frame clickable. Out of frame is developed any such aircraft.
Let
The
me
claims
go
of
down
European any developed have companies. His,
Wow.
or Musk. Elon at advertisement frame. Out of frame despite the sensational headlines there.
Despite the headlines,
Sensational headlines there is no evidence that Elon Musk or his companies
there is no evidence
His
that Elon
companies
Musk
have
or his
developed
company
any
have
such
developed
aircraft.
any such
Claims
aircraft.
appear to be entirely fabricated.
The claims appear to be
Entirely
entirely
fabricated
fabricated
and unsupported by credible
and unsupported.
sources. Fact checkers have rated similar. While Musk ventures like SpaceX and Tesla are known for innovative technologies, no reputable news outlets or official company statements corroborate the existence of a physics-defying fighter jet. The viral posts seem to be spreading misinformation by exploiting Musk's reputation for ambitious technological projects. Heading level 2, Elon Musk ventures into aerospace. Frame clickable grouping unavailable. Out of grouping
Let me
info into
find
visit
it.
link Elon Musk
It
unveiled
is
level.
true. He did build one.
Button watch later lounging with John menu buttons.
That
Elon
sounds
Musk on
like
SpaceX
a
and
really
pursuit of space
cool
innovation. Heading up SpaceX
aircraft.
founded by Musk in 2002 as Rebel 9 rocket capable of landing its first stage. SpaceX founded by Musk in 2002 as revolutionized space travel. The company developed the Falcon 9 rocket capable of landing its first stage for use. This innovation drastically reduced launch costs. SpaceX linked Dragon spacecraft that successfully delivered cargo to the International 2020. Built the company's linked Starship designed for missions to Mars and Tesla's technological symbiosis with their technology
Space
was potentially
fighter
adapted to
going
electric
to
aircraft.
space.
Advertisement. UFO fighter jet concept heading level 2. Frame clickable grouping available. Grouping link historical context and tech link UFO sightings of influenced aircraft designed for decades. Since the 19 UFO fighter jet would require breakthroughs in several areas. Temperatures. 3. Energy generation. Powerful. Out of list quantum physics principles might offer pathways to new technology. Manipulating space-time could enable extreme maneuverability. However, translating these ideas into integration in modern fighter jet settings. AI systems are being autonomous. No more. UFO fighter design.
There's
HTTP button of October 21st. Fighter jet with specifications. Clickable link. Elon Musk unveils UFO fighter jet that defies physics. Claimed by Facebook posts. Link fact check. HTTP button about December 14th, 20. Clickable link. Clickable December button about this result. Link HTTP. Fighter jet that defies physics. Link Facebook. Link HTTP. Of 0 point energy. An infinite energy source theorized by. Clickable link. Elon Musk unveils UFO fighter jet that defies physics. Heading level 3 link. Link changes. Link https//w button about this result. AX1 UFO fighter
What are
jet
the
that defies
latest
advanced
features
technology
on
design improvements by
Elon
fuel
Musk's
efficiency, various military applications
UFO
and potential.
fighting jet?
Clickable link. Clickable fuel efficiency, various military applications and potential. Clickable Elon Musk UFO fighter jet claim is pants on fire. Heading level 3 link.
Hold on.
Clickable navigation landmark page navigation heading next link heading level 3. Content info landmark. Main landmark page nav. Clickable Elon Musk unveils UFO fighter jet that defies physics. Heading level 3 link.
okay. So I wanted to read the right page before I actually finished my whole point on
Link.
this.
Link heading level 3 Elon Musk unveils UFO fighter jet. Link Facebook. Link HT button about this result. Design incorporates button about link H link Facebook. Link heading level 3 Elon Musk unveils UFO. Untitled Google Chrome. River State Government rate. 7. River State Government rate.
Now this was a post that was done on
Clickable channel and search Facebook combo
Facebook. Okay?
main landmark River State Government.
Mm-hmm.
And when I heard about
Link
it,
24 point button join group. Button share. Button see
I
recommended
thought,
group. Tab
where
house.
in the world
Tab selected discuss tab people. Tab event tab me tab button button more. Main landmark heading public. Anyone can see who's in the group and what they post.
can I find
Visible. Anyone report heading link graphic maybe an image of text. Link graphic girl runs past in the sports bra and a tiny
information
bear
on
link graphic girl over wire
this?
understand link
And,
graphic replies. Here I'm not link. Clickable link with TV link heading level to go next heading.
well,
Anna main landmark river state government link heading level 1 public group.
I never
UFO
could.
fighter designed by Elon Musk Google's.
But do I think, this is where I'm getting at with this. If it's true, if he really did design a fighter like that and the government just didn't accept it because of whatever reasons, I think that Elon Musk definitely has the knowledge to do it. 100%.
Absolutely.
He could build something like that with no doubt in my mind. So when it comes to that, I'm curious what other people think. Do you think he actually could? Actually, I had. We'll update this about the UFO. We'll do another stream tomorrow night about it.
I have a twist on that theory.
But what is your twist?
So my twist is, what if the government has gotten into talks with him and is developing this aircraft or has developed it?
What if it's
but
already
nobody knows
developed
about
and it's
it?
behind lock and key?
Exactly.
Because the thing I read the other day, I wish I'd have saved it now. It was talking about how when it was in the air, that it basically could make itself look like a cloud, which is definitely something that could be done with technology.
Yeah, that's definitely something you don't see a normal aircraft do.
No, but with technology, it could definitely be done because it could, with it being the right color, on top of doing some type of visual type of hologram around it, it could definitely. I mean, think about it. If it could do a hologram, or whatever you call that makes it look like it's really there, but it's not.
Yeah, it's a hologram.
Okay. If it did that as a cloud, you're not going to know no different standing on the ground compared to being 30,000 feet up in the air. You're not going to
And
know
if this
what that
thing
is.
has anti-gravity technology, I wonder if it's capable of going into space
Well, it had
and
talked
orbit.
about, one of the features was it could basically shut down a fighter from right where it's at by hitting it with this certain kind of pulse. It basically just fry the whole system. Bam.
Yeah, an electronic magnetic pulse, an EMP.
No, it even talked about some microwave type of weaponry stuff as well, where they could literally burn the pilot right out of his seat.
Oh, wow.
I mean, there's been some really crazy talk on this, and we're going to get into more of this tomorrow because I need to find that source that I had. I don't want to say this is 100% yet, guys, but
I am very curious about this aircraft.
I had got my friend to look it up. I wonder if he did. Let me send a text. Tell Andy Heisel, did you look up about that UFO? Hold on one sec.
Sending to Andy.
Send.
You know, and I wonder maybe if that may be the drone sightings over New Jersey, too.
No, it had nothing to do with the drone sightings. That's something totally different that we're about to get into here in a minute.
I don't know if it's still going on
Listen,
or not. I haven't heard.
There's some drone stuff going on, and there's a big
Oh,
issue
is it still
with
going
it.
on?
UFO fighter designed by Elon Musk Google. Desktop list. Google Chrome. Talkie Google Chrome row 1 column 1 1 of 4. 4281. We're going to get hit. China expert 4281. We're going to get hit. China expert warns of it.
This was a headline 2 days ago.
4281. We're going to get hit. China expert warns of attack on you.
We're going to get hit. Chinese
Dialogue. 4281. We're going to get hit. China expert warns of attack on U.S. So YouTube Google Chrome.
China expert warns on hits in U.S.
Oh, boy.
Landmark clickable button. Main landmark clickable. We're going to get hit. Going to hit.
It says
China.
we're going to get hit.
Expert.
China
Warn
expert
of attack on
warns
U.S.
of attack on
Clickable link
U.S.
Fox Business.
soil.
Clickable link Fox Business.
And they're talking about the drones. They're talking about drone sightings, and there were people saying that's those are China, and the problem is we, the United States, have also purchased stuff connected to drones with China. I mean, technology. The problem that we're having here is some of the higher officials are saying, look, we're behind on technology. China's ahead. We're buying stuff from China and their stuff works. It's better.
I hope
And
the
now
Secret Service has a watch on these things.
Graphic clickable verify. Clickable link Fox Business.
Well, I've got this came from Fox,
Link at Fox Business.
so I know it's
Dialogue.
not bullcrap.
Main landmark clickable. You're going to get this. China expert warns of attack on U.S.
I'm gonna try to see. Hopefully, you can hear this too. I'm gonna play it, Brandon.
Complimentary clickable link Fox Business. Graphic clue point clickable button clickable blank clickable base suspicious link button move tab selected tab from Fox Business. Dialogue. Enter landmark clickable skip navigation button search land button search main landmark clickable you're going to get this clickable link at Fox Business clickable link graphic clickable there 2.77 m clickable button subscribe clickable toggle button not press this clickable button share clickable button download button more actions clickable 1.9 m blank clickable based on instance suspicious drones over New Jersey and New York as well as Chinese geopolitical pressures link number Fox Business button more tab selected all.
Sometimes
OC task manager shift window bookmark reopen new tab maximum minimize size S move M size M minimize maximize X new tab
Now, once you
maximize 40
hear this
clickable
this is
link number
good
Fox suspicious based on
stuff.
instance senior fellow. We're going to get this China expert warns of
Oh, thanks, baby.
dialogue. Enter land business clickable button skip
Yeah,
navigation.
but
Some Latin.
whoa.
That was bad.
Visit link clickable button search land buttons clickable blank clickable main clickable link clickable button my clickable 102 link Star Trek clickable button skip seek sliders like clickable buttons button 41.
Okay,
Welcome
can you hear
back
this?
now to China. At least
No.
17 U.S. military bases near Chinese-owned
How do you not
farmland
hear that when I hear
reportedly
it
seeing a
echoing
surge
from
in
your phone?
drone activity and sightings in
It
recent
doesn't come
weeks.
through to my
The sightings
phone.
happening near bases in Hawaii and installations in Utah,
hold on.
California, Maine, and Florida. House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Michael McCall has been warning about the drones in focus these last couple of weeks. He says they're from China.
Hold on.
My judgment, based on my experience, is that those that are
Okay.
over our military sites are adversarial.
So there was spottings of drones, several drones that apparently are being said that they're China's.
Oh
And-
boy.
If anybody in the United States can sit back and say, "Oh well, we don't got nothing to worry about with China," then you're a fool. I don't trust China no more than I trust Russia. China has, made threats more than once about stuff that they were going to do or could
Well, look
do.
at what they've already done to us over the past few years. They've given us COVID in the world.
Well, I tread lightly on saying that because we can't actually say that they gave it. There was never. We don't know on that 100%. There's a lot of stuff coming that says that it did, but that's something I wouldn't even put on the comparison line compared to this stuff to deal with drones and
Yeah.
And most likely are coming from the People's Republic of China.
see, he just said most likely coming from the People's Republic of China. These drones.
Yeah.
China is very good at this stuff.
Did they give
China's
us?
good
And we
at
know
it.
they bought land around military bases.
Now think about this too. This guy points out they bought land around all these different military bases. Guys, they didn't do that for nothing.
Did they give a specific date on when we could be facing this problem?
No, there is no date on it. It's not a date that says, hey, we're going to attack this time or day, specific hour. This is
This would be very consistent with their policy over the last couple of years.
Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville was
Let me
with me
see
this
here.
week. He weighed in on this
so
yesterday.
you got
Watch
another
this.
guy that weighed in on it.
Are we buying drones still from
And it says, are we
DJI, a
buying
Chinese
drones from DJI?
drone maker?
Which is a
Oh,
Chinese drone
we're
maker.
buying drones from China. There's no
And this guy says, yeah, no doubt. No doubt in my mind. We are definitely buying drones from China. Okay.
doubt about that. I talked to a drone maker the other day, and basically I said, why are we buying drones from China? They have better technology, Maria, than what we have.
Like you said, they have better technology than what we have. That's why we're buying them from them. We're
Yep.
buying drones from China because they have better technology. That's funny to think about, isn't it? Because a lot of times when we think about products from China, we think of cheap, generic.
Yeah, we do.
But they're not cheap on everything. They're not generic on everything. China, they're not dumb people. They're not dumb.
They're
They-
really not.
They have some technology that probably is ahead of us. Let's see what Andy said, because I asked him his thoughts.
You know,
And-
I gotta say, even though I'm not a fan of the president-elect, I'm not a fan. I don't like him that much, but I gotta hope that the Secret Service has an eye on this ball as far as the drones go, because what concerns me is a plot to get him with drones.
Well, I can tell you this. The one thing Trump will not put up with is China and their mouth.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what Andy said.
Oh,
So,
no doubt.
That was a very interesting video about Elon Musk apostrophe SUFO fighter and the weapons that it has very, very interesting period. Also talking about other countries and the apostrophe supersonic hyper. Today's 6:54. Andy Heisel, thanks for sending that information period. Today's Andy Heisel.
okay, so
Characters, actions, act voices, describe image, headings, containers, screen activities, hints, sounds, punctuation, audio dubbing, volume, speaking rate, words, speaking 60, 50%.
I'm going to slow it down so people can understand. So this is Andy's thoughts on this. Because I actually sent him the video. There's a video.
Oh, wow.
Here's what Andy says.
Andy Heisel, old man Rogers. Very text
Wait.
message. Andy Heisel, old man Rogers. Text Tuesday. Your
Let me get to it here.
Andy Heisel, thanks for sending today's.
Okay, here we go.
Andy Heisel, that was a very interesting video about Elon Musk apostrophe SUFO fighter and the weapons that it has very, very interesting period. Also talking about other countries and the apostrophe supersonic hyper missiles. Period, 6:50.
And then he said,
Good
Andy Heisel,
God.
with Donald Trump coming into office, this stuff will rapidly go to the military period. Their apostrophe S, no doubt about this period. This is a massive game changer period, 6:50.
and I agree 100%.
Here's my thing.
Listen, this
If
thing,
you-
this thing has, and then I'll let you give me your thing on this.
Okay.
This thing has 99.99% accuracy on targeting.
Wow.
It can burn someone right out of their seat. You're talking about a fighter that can spin and turn on a dime,
That's incredible.
and the speed is supersonic. It is the fastest aircraft in the world.
And hypersonic missiles, good God.
You know how quick they could launch a missile from one of them
Oh,
and the problem be done. Imagine if we had 15 of those. Imagine that. That group of 15 could defeat anybody.
I think even a group of 10, honestly.
Well, me and David, even David has always said, it's better to have too many than too less.
Yeah, exactly. Now, here's my thing about him. Andy's talking about this stuff going in the military. This has always been a pattern. Republican presidents, you see an upsurge in military spending and equipment going to the military. It's always happened.
Well, the thing
And
is,
I agree with him. It's not going to be any different.
we need a strong military, and if we got technology, it's going to go there.
Yeah, especially if you got things like supersonic hyper missiles.
And I believe, too, that if we do have any kind of threat from China, it will be dealt with very stiffly, most especially with Donald Trump being in the House. Donald Trump does not tolerate China's bullcrap by no means at all. Zero. He has zero tolerance for their behavior on anything. Now, even those that don't like Trump, you know, like some of the non-supporters even said, like
Me.
well, yeah, like you too. They even said having China with these stupid thoughts of them using drones, this is not something that the government will overlook by no means.
Oh, no.
Just like this war that we're having with Russia. Not with us, but the war that we're seeing with Russia and
Ukraine.
You better bet your buttons that we're going to be out of that next year. When Donald Trump comes in, our stuff's coming out. Because, like you said, why? Why are we involved in that? Why is our money being wasted to help Russia? Why? For Russia to be over there fighting over some land because they want to take back over the nuclear facilities and stuff like that.
I think, unfortunately, in our government, we've got people that have never met a war they didn't like. Because, I mean, think about it. If you got a bunch of people that want to go to war.
Yeah, but if it's not our war, we shouldn't get involved.
I agree. But what I'm saying is, and the reason I say some people have met wars they didn't, that they've never not liked, is because it means big money for them, because they're defense contractors, stuff like that, and they get lots of money from war.
Oh yeah, it's all about the money.
Of course it is.
But luckily for us, when it comes to Trump, he don't care about that. He don't care about, there is no money to be made giving our stuff to this other country. There's no money in that, and it's a waste of our money and a waste of our stuff that we need to keep on our soil, period. And I think that's, I don't know. It's going to be interesting with the relationship with China and these upcoming things going on with them. And then I think it's going to be interesting, but I think it's going to end very quickly. I think we're going to see... I think we'll see us pull out of that whole deal with Russia. I think we're going to stop providing them anything to do with that. Because why? Mm-hmm. Why are we wasting billions of dollars wasted? To what? Make another country happy? We waste so much money. And look, I'm just going to say this. There was a lot of money wasted from the house that's in there now that did not have to be wasted. Like David said, there were just a waste of money.
And I got to say, every war that we have been in over the past several decades, whether it be Iraq, this war, Afghanistan, it's been never ending. They've been never ending quagmires.
That's because we need to walk away and stay away. That's But let's just face it. How many countries can actually sit back and mind their own business?
None.
Yeah, there's one that doesn't get involved in nobody's bull crap, and that's Canada.
Yeah, you never hear about Canada doing stuff.
Canada don't get involved in our stuff, and we don't mess with their stuff.
Mm-mm.
So, I don't know. I think 2025 is going to be a very interesting year, folks. That's all I can say. Put on your...
Buckle up and hold on for the ride, folks.
Yeah, because I think we're going to see a lot of interesting things happening in 2025, even when it comes to technology.
Oh, I'm definitely looking forward to where the technology
goes. You're looking at a developer
goes.
of a starship, not a rocket, not a shuttle. We're talking about a starship that's been built, tested, it's been launched. It's not been sent away from Earth yet, but that's the next step.
That's coming, though.
It's coming. This is what you're going to see. When you see that ship being tested to go to the moon, The next phase is going to Mars. I'm telling you that right
Yep.
now. You will see the Starship go to Mars. I guarantee it. Whether people that believe in technology or not, I believe it. I believe we're going to see the Starship go to Mars, and I believe it's going to be fully loaded with the people that it was built to hold.
I'm going to make a prediction, and if I'm wrong at this time next year, you can hold
Because
me
you know that
accountable to this.
Starship can sleep 200 people,
Yeah. Well,
right?
I predict that by this time next year,
You won't be a virgin no more.
well, no,
Oh, sorry.
we're
Go
gonna
ahead.
see. We're gonna see Starship actually do a flight test, maybe to the moon and back.
Oh, that's no doubt in my mind. I think by 20, I'm gonna go with the longer prediction here. By 2028, we will see Starship go to Mars. Now,
I'm gonna take odds on that and go a year earlier.
I don't think so, because before we send people there, we're gonna have to send it there and back.
Yeah. Well, provided it does take a 2-year round trip there and back.
That's why I don't think we're gonna. 2028 is going to be. I'd say that's going to be cutting it close to.
So you think that we'll see a Starship launch to Mars in 2026 and arrive in 2028?
No, I think we'll see it launch in 2028 and arrive in 2030. Being it takes 2 years to get there, right?
Yeah,
I wasn't thinking about that, but yeah, I see it launching in 2028. But I'll tell you something, we could be way off here. Me and you could be way off our game here.
We could be.
Because I'm not going to get into it fully because I don't know all the details, but there's other technology that he's also working on to try to make it much faster. And I forget what it's called. He's talked about it.
Nuclear propulsion?
Basically, you know how on the Star Trek movies it goes into that.
Oh yeah, warp drive.
Yeah. He's even gave see, I don't know enough to say, but he's talked about it, like how it would have to work. You're looking at reverse gravity. He understands the mathematics behind that stuff.
My question is, what would he send on a first Starship flight test to Mars?
I mean, there's a lot we could actually. We could send something there and deploy some remote stuff, maybe stuff on the ground that we could remotely view.
Yeah.
We did with the moon with the whatever it's called.
Intuitive machines.
Yeah, where basically we can put something on Mars that can be moved, drive around, and no one there doing it. It's all done remotely. It's going to be interesting.
It'll be interesting when we start sending people to Mars.
Yeah, now you're talking some. Yeah, definitely.
Because, we're going to have an atmosphere. We're going to have a way to grow food.
Well, I think before we see people go, I think before we see it go that far, we're going to see building happen on the moon first.
Oh, definitely.
But just doing a test going to Mars, I think we'll see it before 2030.
I think you're right. I know you're probably right. I'm going to hold you to that too. But I think we're going to not only start building on the moon, I think we're going to start utilizing the resources that are there, such as water ice, minerals in the dust. Who knows? Maybe we'll find a way to resource the radiation that comes from the sun and space.
Now, here's our thing to think about. If we start using resources from the moon, are these resources going to renew themselves, or we going to end up? Is it going to turn into where we can only get so much and then we'll have to stop because,
That's what I'm wondering.
like, what we cause damage is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I that's been in the back of my mind. Is this going to be an infinite supply of resources, or are we going to have to stop, like
or are
you
we
just
looking
said?
for a way to destroy Earth even quicker? You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like,
exactly.
not saying that that's what it is, guys, because I don't know. I'm just blowing different thoughts here in the wind, but
No, but it is a valid point that you
'cause I don't
raised.
know.
Is
I
this
don't
an
know if,
infinite?
like, is it like if we're using up all the resources, does it renew itself?
Yeah, does it replenish itself somehow?
Right. Because the stuff we use on Earth, do you see it replenishing? No.
Nope.
That's why when we dig for oil and all that, what happens when it gets done? We have to stop digging there. Can we go back later and get more? No, it's done. Now, I've got the real answer getting to Mars even quicker. I know exactly what we got to do. We've got to build a black hole in the middle of the Earth, and see, instead of going up and going out to space, we go through the planet, going down. I seen that on a movie. I forget what movie it was, where they had to get off this planet and they couldn't launch. And to get off and to get away, they ended up going through the planet instead of up and off the planet.
Well, you wouldn't want a black hole coming anywhere near Earth. We'd be in trouble.
Well, no, exactly. But no, I don't know. I love technology, you guys. It's a spontaneous drive.
Technology is the best thing that's around right now.
Technology is going to give us the ability to sit in a cockpit.
Oh, I firmly believe that.
Talking about technology, this is my thing about that. Stupid microphone. Hold on a minute. It's making me mad. Here's the thing about it. I believe in technology 100%.
Yep.
A lot of people are scared of technology when they put it in the hands of, for example, let's say flying, for example. If you got someone sitting beside you and they can read you everything on the panel, a person would probably be more trusting to sit there and tell you what they're saying and then you doing what you need to do to fly, compared to technology telling you. They'd be scared.
Mm-hmm.
But if they was sitting there to tell you what it said, they would probably still be scared, but they'd probably rather do it that way.
Yeah.
Me, I trust technology. If I could load, let's just say I could put, which given, you know, if I could put the software into one of the airplanes, like a Cessna or any of those, or even a 737, I am, with no doubt in my mind, I would not be scared to sit in that seat and take off.
Exactly.
As long as I knew all the stuff. If I was, you know, the way that, like when I'm in the sim and I go through all them steps, if all that stuff is the right way, and they say, yeah, as long as you do that in that cockpit, here's your technology, let's go, I would do it.
Yep.
I trust technology. I trust technology, 100%.
Me too.
Here's a question to everybody else out there. Are you scared of technology, or do you trust it? It's interesting because a lot of people would be scared. A lot of people would be frightened to know if they was in a airplane someday, and then all of a sudden someone said, "You do know there's no pilot in the front, right? You know that it's being flown remotely." You know how many people would freak out just because there's no one up there?
I've had people freak out when I've mentioned that on a plane. Like I said, do you know the pilot's actually not flying this plane? It's flying on autopilot.
As soon as them wheels come up and it gets to about 10,000 and that pilot puts it on autopilot, they're just sitting there just like you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're monitoring, they're watching the gauges and blah, 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 blah. But, yeah. So, let's do some more digging on this UFO fighter. I'm going to find that video. We'll play that tomorrow night. And,
All right.
Brandon, see what else you can dig up on it.
I'll see what I can dig
we'll
up.
talk a little more on Elon Musk and his UFO fighter. There's no way I could see Donald Trump saying, no, we're not going to use it. He would say, we're going to use it. Let's build more.
Let's build more and let's get them out to the military.
Listen,
ASAP.
United States, we're about what? We're about power.
Yep.
What is it called? Aren't we one of the countries?
We are what's called a superpower.
Yeah, superpower country, right? We're all about power.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know that we are one of them, but I don't think we're number one on the list.
Let me find out, computer. Who is the number one superpower country in the world?
Japan.
Sorry, I don't have an answer for
Wow, it can't even tell me.
Here you go. I'll get
40
the
one.
answer
You're going to
right
get this.
now.
China export warrant.
We're going to do
Toolbar. Address and search. G-O-O-G-L-E.C-O-M. Google document. Search landmark. Search combo double H-A-R. Space O. Space E. Space U-T-T-W.
I bet it's
U-N-R-I-E-S. Space. What are the top 10 superpower countries? Site and access. Clickable search. What do you mean? What are the top 10 superpower countries? Clickable heading level 1 AI overview. Clickable heading level 2 AI overview. Link learn more about generous button about this. Clickable heading level 2 the top 10 list. Clickable with 2 items. United States. Clickable. Out of list clickable heading level 2 the top 10 most powerful countries in the world in 2024 are. List clickable with 2 items. United States.
United States.
The world's most powerful country with the largest economy and military budget. The U.S. also has. World's most powerful country.
We're the world.
Powerful.
We are the most
Country
powerful
with
country
largest economy and
with the largest
military
economy
budget.
and military budget.
The U.S. also has a global network.
The U.S. also has a global network
of strategic partnerships.
Strategic
Partnerships. And
partnerships,
advanced technological innovations.
Advanced
Technological
technological
innovations. Button view. Out of button innovations.
innovations
Button view related links. Clickable. China.
Wow.
A global economic powerhouse with a large economy and advanced navy.
China.
China's Golden Road.
is next.
Initiative has expanded its influence
Oh,
in Latin
boy.
America. Out of list clickable list with 2 items. Link most powerful countries. Most powerful countries. News. USnews.com. Button about this result. Clickable link top 10 most powerful nations by militaries. Button of US most link most out of list global China.
Look at
Clickable.
this.
Button view related to global network. The world's most powerful United States. Clickable. Out of list clickable heading level 2 the top 10 most.
Wish I could use Siri while I'm on
Button
here
about
with you, so
Link learn more about
that I
heading
could
level 2 AI
actually
overview.
ask.
Clickable the top 10 most powerful countries in the world in 2024 are heading level 2. Main landmark clickable most powerful countries. News heading level 3 link. Clickable people also ask heading level rank. The world's biggest superpowers in 2024 heading level 3 link.
Here we go.
Ranked the world's biggest superpowers in 2020.
Okay.
Edit. Banner landmark heading level 2 visual capitalist. List with 4 items link VC plus. Markets link heading level 3. Ranked world's biggest superpowers in 2024 heading level 1. World's biggest superpowers.
World's biggest superpower
Superpowers. 2024.
in
Our heading published 3.
2024.
By link Dorothy, new published 3 months ago. Link unlabeled graphic. Link Vorno app. Link graphic is large. Link news is visual. List with 6. Link Facebook. Ranking world superpowers in 20. The strength of major nations in 2024 heading level 2. Learn more on the Vorno app. Heading you may also like heading left. Subscribe heading left. Global forecast. Advertise banner landmark is ranked world's biggest superpowers in 2020. Published 3 months by link unlabeled. Link Vorno app. Link graphic is link news is visual. List with 6 items. Link Facebook. Link red. Link find email. Out of list video players currently. Click graphic ad. Button pause. Button of new clickables. Grouping available. Out of grouping ads. Out of grouping clickable. Out of frame heading level. This was originally posted on our link Vorno app. Link iOS or link Android. This is global economic signs of framing. With nationalism on the rise, protectionist at the same time. India and Asia which would shift the global power. This graphic ranks world superpowers in link great powers index 20 with advertisement. Advertisement out of frame clickable. Out of frame low. Economic output. Military syndicating the countries of combo box collapse 10 entries per page. Search. Edit. Table with clickable. Column 2 button total strength. Column 3 button per capita row 2 country column 1 graphic flag United States use.s. Total strength column 2
Okay,
0.89.
United States.
Per capita strength column 3 0. Row 3 country column 1
Alright,
graphic
we're
flag
still
China.
number
Total
one.
strength column 2 0.80.
China.
Per capita strength column 3 0 0 0 0. Row 5 country column 1 graphic flag Germany. The video players total strength column 2 0. Per capita strength column 3 row 6 country column 1 graphic total strength column 2 0.3. Per capita strength column 3 0.4 row 7 country column 1 graphic flag South Korea.
South Korea.
Total strength column 2 0. Per capita strength column 3 row 8 country column 1 graphic flag India. And total strength column 2 0.30. Per capita strength column 3 0.07. Row 9 country column 1 graphic flag United Kingdom UK.
United Kingdom of UK.
Total strength column 2 per capita strength row 10 country total strength column 2 0.27. Per capita strength column 3 0.45. Row 11 country column 1 graphic flag Russia.
Russia.
Total strength column 2 per capita out of table page 8 advertisement. Advertisement frame clickable frame
So
clickable.
that was the first
The video player is currently playing an ad.
5 or whatever, but
Wow.
Thunder 240 Google
So
Chrome
we're still at the top of the
Google Chrome row 1
list.
column 1 talking microphone recording Google Chrome.
see, I didn't think we was.
I
Talking
didn't
microphone recording Google
either.
Chrome. Open link advertisement insert. Restream Google Chrome row 1 column 2 Restream document. Link 5 pilots. Talking Google Chrome ops 30.2.3 profile. Untitled
Sure
team.
we're not just reading, wording it wrong?
GMA and command GMA Lander Gold Wave 34
I don't
GMA
think
home folder
so.
Google Chrome 3 News app Google Chrome toolbar address and search bar edit
Because we're called we are a
search
superpower.
space R E space T H E space S P R space N T I T N U O C C O U N-T-R-I-E-S. Large superpower countries. This site can access clickable search clickable AI over AI overview heading level clickable from sources across the web heading level 2. Main landmark clickable most powerful countries. News.s. News heading level 3 link. Link news.s. Link HT button of the United States, China, and Russia are seen as the world's most powerful country. United
It says United States,
China, and Russia.
China, and Russia.
Button of link H link news.s. New link heading level 3 most powerful
Oh,
countries.
wow.
Most
This
powerful
came
countries.
from
News.s.
U.S. News.
Main landmark clickable power. H. Most powerful countries. News. Most powerful countries. News. Occupy opposites are tracked. List with 13 items. United States link heading level 3.
Okay, United States.
China link heading level 3.
China
Number 2 in power.
is number 2 in power.
Russia link heading level 3. Number 3 in power.
I'm surprised China's above Russia. Russia's number 3.
United Kingdom link heading level 3.
I'm actually surprised about that too.
United Kingdom is number 4.
Germany link heading level 3.
Germany's number 5.
South Korea link heading level 3.
South Korea's number 6. That's surprising.
France link heading level 3.
Yeah.
France is number 7.
Japan link heading level 3.
Japan, I'm surprised to see them at number 8.
Saudi Arabia link heading level 3.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia is number 9.
Israel link heading level 3.
And Israel is number 10.
Other power rankings heading level 3.
Wow.
Recent articles heading level 4. Other power rankings heading daily release economically influential link has strong link alliances link strong military. Link unlabeled graphic advertisement frame. Out of frame clickable heading link the German government collapse. Heading level 4 recent article. Clickable land mainland list with China Russia link heading level 3. United Kingdom link heading level. Kingdom. Out of link in. Power. Number 8 in. Best. Countries. Number 4 in power. Number 8 in best countries overall. Number 4 in power. Heading level 3 link United Kingdom. Link unlabeled graphic advertisement frame. Russia link heading level 3. Number 3 in power.
Yeah.
Heading level 3 link Russia.
Russia's number 3 in power.
China link heading level 3. Number 2 in power. Number 16 in best countries
I'm
overall.
surprised.
It says
Number 2 in power.
China's number 2 in power.
Number 16 in best countries overall.
Number 16 in best countries overall.
Number 2 heading level 3 link China. Link unlabeled graphic 150 335 million. Population 81,006 GDP 27.4 GDP. United States link at number 1 in power. Number 3 in best countries overall.
And then we're number 3 in best countries overall.
China link heading level 3. Russia link heading level 3.
Russia
Number 3 in power.
is number 3 in power.
Number 36 in best countries overall.
But number 36 in power overall.
United Kingdom link heading level 3.
Whoa.
United Kingdom.
Number 4 in power.
Number 4 in power.
Number 8 in best countries overall.
But number 8 in best countries of all.
Germany link heading level 3. Number 5 in power.
Germany's number 5.
Number 7 in best countries overall.
Ranking number 7
Best countries.
in best countries of all.
South Korea link heading level 3.
South Korea
Number 6 in power.
is number 6 in power.
Number 18 in best countries overall.
But number 18 in best countries overall.
France link heading level
I
3.
wonder what the number 1 best country overall is.
France
Number 7 in power.
is number 7 in power.
Number 12 in best countries overall.
Number 12 in best countries overall.
Japan link heading level 3. Number 8 in power.
Wow.
Japan
Number 2 in best countries overall.
is number 2
In best countries.
in best countries overall.
Saudi Arabia link heading level 3. Number 9 in power. Number 32 in best countries overall. Israel link heading level 3. Number 10 and number 46 in best countries overall. Other power rankings heading link daily release economically influential.
So
Other power
where
rankings list with Saudi,
do we
Japan, France,
see-
South Korea link head, Germany link heading, United Kingdom link heading, Russia link heading level, China link heading level 3, United States link heading level 3. Number 1 in power. Number 3 in best countries overall.
Number 3 in best countries overall.
In. Number 3. In. Best. In. Space. I. And select. Best select countries overall. Selected. Selected.
So I'm curious
Number
to
3 in best
see.
United. United. And military. United. Number 3 in best country. In. Number 3. In. Space. I. And select. Best select countries. Select overall. Selected. Copy the clipboard. In. Toolbar. Address. G. O. O. G. L. E. Dot. C. O. M.
What?
This site can access your location. Change the setting in the address bar. Alert. Google Doc. Double space.
What
U. N. T. R. Y. Space. I.
country
S.
is
Overall country. Best. In. Is. Country. Is. In. Best. In. Is. In.
is
Space. I. N. U. M. E. R. Space.
number
1. Space.
1?
1 in best country overall blank blank. What country is number 1?
Let's see what it says.
Clickable navigate search clickable AI overview heading level clickable AI overview heading level 2. Clickable according to news.s news and world report link highlighted Switzerland highlighted as the top ranked country in the world for 2024. Heading level
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
button view related links.
What?
Heading level 2 according to news.s news and world
Who do you think's number 1?
heading level news and world report highlighted is top ranked country in the world for
I don't
2024.
know.
A button above the result clickable heading level 2 according to news.s news and world report highlighted Switzerland highlighted as the top ranked country.
Switzerland.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah? Wow, man, I'm just blown away with this shit tonight.
That's amazing.
Damn.
Desktop list Google Chrome.
I don't really know much about Switzerland though for me to have like a bad thought on it. I can't really say you know what I'm saying? I can't be like, "Oh, they're stupid," cuz I don't
Yeah.
know much about a lot of these countries, I'll be honest. I was surprised to see Russia at number 3.
That
I'm
is
surprised
surprising.
that they're behind China. That just sits with me in a bad way.
Yeah.
So here's a question for you, and then we'll kill the stream for tonight.
TMA Ladder T Goldwave 3443 TMA Home T Google Chrome 3 News app Google Chrome Toolbar address and search bar at Google O T E C O M Google document search double A space I S space N U M E R space O E space T U R Y space I N space T E H K N O L O T Y. What is the number 1 country this site can access? Navigate search. These are results from a clickable AI overview heading level 1. Clickable AI overview heading clickable. Here are some other countries that are considered to be technologically advanced. Heading level 2. List with 1 item China. Out of list with 2 items. Link top 13 most technologically advanced countries 2024. Top 13 most link top 13 most technologically advanced countries 2024. Top 13 most technologically advanced countries 2024. Link top 13 most 13 top 13 most technologically most space M most select advanced selected country selected 2024 selected. 2024. Copy the clip. Out of list settings. Search landmark. What is Y? WAT space COUNTRY space S space collapsed. What country is most technological? Site can access your clickable search. Clickable AI overview. Heading level. Clickable AI overview. Heading level 2. Link learn more about button about this result. Clickable heading level 2. Here are some of the most technological. Clickable with 1 item. South Korea. A leader in technology and economic development. South Korea is home to global companies like Samsung and LG. Main landmark. Clickable featured snippets from the web. Heading level 2. Heading level 3. Top 13 most technologically advanced countries 2024.
Here's the top 13 most technology.
List with 8 items 1. United States. The United States remains a global tech powerhouse. Home to silicon.
So it says number 1.
United States.
United States
remains a global tech
powerhouse. Global tech powerhouse.
Home to silicon.
Wow.
Silicon.
Home to Silicon Valley.
Epicenter of innovation.
The epicenter of innovation.
And home to giants like
Apple, to giants like Apple, Google,
Facebook.
And Facebook.
China. Epicenter of innovation and home to giants like.
Okay.
Oh man.
Ready for number 2?
China.
Yep.
The one country that I don't like seeing number 2.
China.
3. Japan. 2. China. 3. Japan. 2. China.
Wow.
Okay.
3. Japan.
Number 3 is
2. 3. Japan.
Japan. I figured they'd
Yeah, I
be
was gonna
above
say
China.
it's got to be Japan.
Number 4
South Korea.
is South Korea.
5. Germany.
Number 5 is Germany. And rolling down the hill with them
6. Singapore.
is Singapore at number 6.
7. Sweden.
And number 7 is good old Sweden.
8. United Kingdom.
And number 8 is United Kingdom.
Out of list link more
Wow.
items. List with 8 items 8. United Kingdom. Out of list link more items. Clickable link. Link heading level 3 top 13 most technologically advanced. Link to Singapore. Link HTTPS. Button about visitors blank. Link about featured snippets.
Well, it didn't give me 10. That was only 8.
Button feedback. Clickable heading level 2. Also ask.
Anyways,
Button about the result.
still. You know,
Notice what country wasn't in the top 10 on that list?
the thing that disturbs me, though, that is this list says we're number 1 in technology, but are we really?
Yeah, I know. I mean, if we're number 1 in technology, we shouldn't be having to buy drones.
We shouldn't be buying drones from China.
Mm-mm.
But I think that's why China's so big about wanting to try to take us over, because they want to be the powerhouse.
Yep.
I will never raise a salute to that country.
I would never do that
Even if they
either.
took over the country, I would never salute them. They would have to murder. They'd have to kill me, because I would not salute
I think
them.
they'd have to do that to a lot of us, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
Because
That is for sure, my friend.
no true patriot would ever raise a salute to their flag.
No. So, guys,
What country is most technological?
let us know what you thought about the second part of
Program
the
manager.
stream tonight. I hope
Restream
you
Google Chrome,
enjoyed
1.1.1,
it.
restream Google Chrome, restream.
It's fun doing
Ops 30.2.3. Ops 30.
different stuff like this sometimes, doing stuff that's more positive, something a little more excitement, and technology is definitely something on the number 1 list for me when it comes to things I love the most. So,
It's a definite exciting topic.
absolutely. So tomorrow night we'll be back. We're going to give you some more views on Elon Musk and the UFO fighter, and we'll open up tomorrow night with Brandon with his dialogue on what else he's found out and what his thought is overall. Is it a keeper or is it a sweeper? Till tomorrow night, y'all have a good night out there on Facebook. All the loungers, y'all take care. Remember, follow us on TikTok. Just look up Lounging with